So you know the story. I was 8 years old. I lost my sister. I was lonely. And the thing about loneliness is there's something very sinister about it. It's kind of self-sustaining. See, what happens is we set up defense mechanisms in order to protect ourselves. So loneliness is actually a self-perpetuating thing. To help clarify this, I'm going to refer to another YouTube channel out there that actually has really great infographics on it. The channel name is Kyrgyzstan. It's this one. You see, rejection, social rejection or otherwise, is seen as a source of pain by our brains. So whenever we experience pain, we want to protect ourselves from that pain. So it starts to develop defense mechanisms. Although these defense mechanisms may be beneficial in the short term, when it becomes chronic, then it starts to create problems for us. As I stated in the previous video, which is right there, or here, click on that. Still getting used to this whole YouTube thing. This state of self-preservation makes you more perceptive to any social slights, making you even hyper-vigilant to them, and even sensing social hostilities perceived to be there, even if the situation is neutral. In other words, you may pay more attention to people's faces, however, your ability to read the facial expressions is inhibited or diminished. Ultimately, you start to distrust people, you start to turn down invitations from friends until they eventually stop. This can take weeks, months, or even years to happen. However, when it runs its course, it confirms what you already believe in that you're alone. Ultimately, it leads to withdrawal and self-isolation. Being as I was only 8 years old, this is kind of hard to imagine for an 8-year-old to do in a sense, but that's exactly what I did. At 8 years old, I probably should have been a happy-go-lucky kid that just did a whole bunch of things. For the most part, I was that for most of my childhood. However, after such traumatizing events, I began to withdraw from my friends. I really did feel alone. I felt as though my friends could not understand me because they had all their siblings. They couldn't understand what I was feeling. I became quiet in school, I kept to myself, I started eating lunches alone, and I blamed the world for that abyss of loneliness that I found myself in. This is the spiral of loneliness. If you can relate to anything I just said, please leave a smiley face emoji in the comments below. Please do, guys. Do it for me. Right now, I'm in a room by myself talking to a camera. It'd be great to know that whatever I'm putting out there is actually meaning something to somebody out there. So please comment below to help with my loneliness. Okay, guys? Thanks. With all that said, what can we do to actually get out of this spiral of loneliness? Let me just start by saying this. In 2018, a survey was done that involved 20,000 individuals. In this survey, they found that 63% of the males reported being lonely, and 58% of the females reported being lonely. Mind you, that's present tense, meaning they were in a state of loneliness. Not they were lonely previously or they were lonely at some time in their life. They were lonely. With those kind of numbers, that actually states that the majority of them were lonely. In other words, it was the norm. So based on this survey, it's estimated that up to 60% of the American population is lonely. And this makes it the majority. In other words, the new norm is most people are lonely. As terrible as that may sound, there's a positive to this. Because if that's the norm, that means you out there that's watching this video that possibly could feel lonely are not actually alone. The person next door feels the same exact way as you. So if you think about it, just imagine like a bunch of people sitting alone in their rooms. It's kind of like me. Thinking that they're alone in the world when just next door there's a person that thinks the same thing. So this actually confirms the statement I said in the last video. You're not alone in your loneliness. The first step is understand that loneliness is a normal thing. So there's no need to be ashamed of it. There's no need to hide from it. No need to guilt trip yourself over it. Say something like, I have this and this and this. Why am I feeling lonely? Putting guilt or anything on top of the loneliness is not helpful. Putting a negative emotion on top of already a negative emotion is not helpful. The next thing you can do is try to engage with people. Now I understand that these days it's not easy to do that because everybody's in quarantine state. However, what you can do is reach out to somebody. Text people back. If you see some place where there's a free Zoom conference where all people are welcome, try attending. Try engaging. you know.
I can
And
do it, yeah.
mind you, your defense mechanisms may be triggered at this point where you say something like, well, I don't like what they have to talk about, or I don't really trust those people. I get it, and just know that's your defense mechanism. Just try to do something, and while you're at it, try to be aware of your thought processes. The thing with defense mechanisms like this, when you get into this spiral, is you're not aware that they're there. You have to somehow increase your awareness to be able to label a defense mechanism. It's kind of calling yourself out. Now, in order to do that, you have to ask yourself the tough question. Ask yourself, am I in a loneliness spiral right now? Do I say no to invitations from friends and give excuses even if whether they're valid or invalid? Ask yourself honestly, am I contributing to my sense of isolation or disconnection from everyone else? Another thing you can do is actually do something kind for someone else. The reason why this is very effective is two reasons. One is it takes the focus off yourself. When we focus on ourselves too much and focus on how lonely we feel, this actually aggravates our situation. So when you actually give to someone else, do something kind for someone else, your focus is on someone else and being altruistic, and it's not on you anymore. It immediately decreases the loneliness. Another thing that does is it actually helps you to feel appreciated. And when you feel appreciated, it's easy for you to practice appreciation, which I've talked about in previous videos, and I think I'll put it right there again. There's another one. Once we practice appreciation, once we're able to appreciate things and rewire our minds, then our awareness level goes up and everything changes. And a bonus tip, I'm not going to expand too much on this one because this one probably should be for another video, like stop comparing yourself to other people, especially in social media. That's not helpful to you. It's detrimental to your health, man. Don't do it. I know it's tempting. I know you're scrolling through Facebook and Instagram and you're saying, oh, why don't I look like that? Why don't I have that? And it's just like, you know what? It's not helpful for you, man. Practice appreciation. Appreciate the things you have. Come on. This is Dr. R. Thanks for watching. Please leave me a comment. Again, it's just an emoji. Whatever it is, I'm going to respond back with another emoji, by the way. You put an emoji down there, I'm going to respond back with another emoji. Leave a comment just to let me know that you got some value from this video. I would really appreciate it. I need encouragement too, guys. I do. I'm human. I need your encouragement to know that this is actually reaching an audience out there. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. This is Dr. R, and this is Worth Saying.